Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about our first ever experience at Busch Garden Tampa's Howl-O-Scream event. Now, last year we did go to SeaWorld's first ever Howl-O-Scream event. This is the first time they ever did it. We didn't make it to SeaWorld this year. Hopefully we will next year. But we decided to, we were staying in Orlando. If you haven't watched it, we have a Halloween Horror Nights video up. We just did that one. But we decided we wanted to drive from Orlando to Tampa to check out Busch Gardens Howl-O-Scream. They've been doing this for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
We've heard pretty good things about it, so we wanted to check it out. And we had never really been to the park before either.
Right.
So it was just altogether a pretty good experience. Now, before we get into talking about it, just our normal YouTube things. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also, leaving a comment's also nice. If you've been to these events, let us know. Also, if you want us to check someplace else, let us know as well without being a troll. You know who you are. Also, we have a Patreon that helps us out a lot if you want to support us. It's a monthly thing. There's multiple different tiers. You can go and join, I think, as low as $5 a month, I think is the lowest one we have on there. You can help us out that way. We also have the super thanks button, which you can click below to give us a comment that basically gives us a tip, and we get most of the proceedings from that after YouTube takes their cut, so that helps us out a lot. And we have a merch line. If you'd like to have a shirt with the skull bulb on it, or there's a lot of different merch you can buy, like you can buy tote bags, all that kind of stuff. If you like Scully the skull bulb, you can check that out as well. But that being said, I guess let's kind of talk, just a little bit about the park itself. The park was really nice and had quite a few good rides.
Yes. We got there later because we didn't want to spend the whole day there because we really weren't sure about this park because, again, we've never really been there before.
Right. And we had done Horror Nights followed by a full day of Disney.
Yeah.
And we were like, man, do we really want to get at this park at open and then be there all day until Howl-O-Scream starts at 7?
Yeah.
So we decided no. So we we got the rental car and then we went there, ate food. We didn't get there till like 5, a little after. It was about almost 5:30 by the time we walked in the park.
Yeah.
So one thing that kind of sucks for us, this is a fun tip for you, depending on what you want to do, is we thought we were going to be there a little bit more. So we had bought this thing called a fun card, which is like kind of a mini season pass. And then we bought our Howl-O-Scream tickets.
Yeah.
They didn't even scan the passes that we bought.
Yeah, they just scanned the Howl-O-Scream ones.
Because I guess if it's like after 5, you can enter the park with Howl-O-Scream tickets.
Yeah.
So you could get there, I guess, as early as 2 hours before the event starts and just ride rides until the event starts.
Yeah.
Because here's the other thing. I don't know if it's normally like this because it had been raining a bit. Not a ton, but a bit that day. We walked on to every ride. Every single ride. Mm-hmm. We got... Before Howl-O-Scream even started, we got what? We got Iron Gwazi done. We got Cheetah Hunt done. We didn't find 2 of the coasters, so we had to do those after the park opened. We did Shikra. I think it's Kumba, the green one. So at least 4.
Yeah, we did like 4 rides before.
And walked the whole park. Sat down, had enough time to drink a lemonade from Chick-fil-A. And we just kind of moseyed around and did all of that before Howl-O-Scream even started.
Yeah.
They had... So I highly recommend doing that. Like, the rides are really good if you're a coaster fan. They have quite a few good coasters. We really liked I think it was Mamba or something like that. It was like the Egyptian-themed B&M floorless coaster.
Yeah, that one was really fun.
Yeah, Iron Gwazi's really good. If you like RMCs, that's fun. But, yeah, great park to go to for coasters. But, yeah, don't think you need, the whole day there. I would say just get your Howl-O-Scream ticket and get there at 5 and ride coasters before the event starts.
Right.
But yeah, they had it was 5 haunted houses and 6 scare zones. We experienced all of
7 actually.
Huh?
Yeah, there's 7 haunted houses. Or I'm sorry, 7 scare zones.
Yeah, there's a lot of scare zones. Most of them are pretty small. There's a couple big ones. Most of them are small though. But we got to experience all of that. We did not get to do any of the shows. One show just wasn't open. The other one, we missed it, and we didn't want to stay there till 11 o'clock at night to see the second show.
Yeah.
But I think there are 3 shows or something. But yeah. So let's kind of, let's talk about scare zones first.
All right.
Yeah, you say the names. I know, I'll remember when I hear the name.
Well, there was 2 new scare zones for this year. Which obviously was new to us anyway.
Yeah, all of it would be new to us, but...
Raven's Mill
Okay, that was, yep.
was a scarecrow themed
This was the biggest one.
scare zone, and yeah, it was the biggest one. They had like a barn facade on like a covered bridge kind of thing.
That was the coolest part of all of it, was this covered bridge. It had a bunch of pumpkins on the roof of the bridge and stuff.
We like when they do that kind of stuff. We like the hanging pumpkins.
Yeah.
And then they had like a bunch of they had a bunch of scarecrows around with like, you know, corn and everything. And some of them were living and some of them were, you know, just props.
Yeah, not as many scenes in this one. A lot of it was like fog and then not barrels, but like big like wood kind of
fencing,
things.
Yeah.
And like people would hide behind those because like they would put it back to back because it's a pretty narrow walkway. It was actually like the bridge, and then it was like this thing that kind of zigzagged to take you down.
Kind of weaved around and stuff. But it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. They got us pretty good in the scares there, just because of the way it like winds and stuff like that. That
one was really cool. Also, it smelled really good, especially around the bridge. They pumped like a pumpkin spice
It
scent.
was really nice smelling.
Really
it was like, oh, we're near the scarecrows. I can smell apples.
And then what was the next one?
Beyond the Veil was the next one. That was a new scare zone as well.
Was that the bioluminescent one?
That was the bioluminescent one, yes.
Okay, yeah. So it was real small, but it was cool. It was like plant people.
Yeah.
And like plant monsters, and they kind of it reminded me like Pandora a little bit.
It did remind me very much of
Avatar.
Pandora and Avatar, yeah. And then they had everything was all like blacklit, and it glowed in the dark and everything like
fog
that.
Bubbles. That was cool.
Yeah, they had fogbles going and regular fog, and it was a lot of fun. It was actually kind of, I almost want to say it was almost like a little bit of a kid-friendly area, because it was kind of playful.
Yeah, it was kind of
in
playful.
a way.
Yeah.
But still kind of scary. I mean, they got me a couple times.
This one was one of the most well lit too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then this one is kind of like its own little like haunted house.
Oh yeah, the
thing. It's called the Junkyard, and it was not, because most scare zones you're actually walking to a destination and you have to go through it.
Right.
This was actually just kind of tucked in a corner,
and there was like an entrance and an exit.
Yeah. So it was like you just kind of go around and then come back out the same way you came in, almost.
But yeah, they packed a lot of little scares in there. Real small. It's basically just a little you do.
Yeah.
It's not real big, but they had like people literally dressed as trash piles, and the trash pile would jump up.
Trash man.
A lot of like metal and people with bats, so like you'd be walking, someone would bang something right beside you and scare the crap out of you. They had sliders as well. Yeah, it was real cool, and yeah, it's nice. It was like a little mini walkthrough.
Yeah.
More so than a scare zone. I really liked that. It kind of reminded me of like a smaller version of what we like at Cedar Point, where they have the scare zones that are really just haunted paths you walk through.
It actually reminded me of a better version of that nocturnal haunted house at Field of Screams.
Oh, well, yeah, much shorter, but yeah,
kind of shorter and just, right to the point.
Just as many actors, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one is really good, so make sure you don't miss that one, because I feel like this one could easily be missed. It is just kind of tucked over. It's real close to Iron Gwazi, so it's over there.
The next is In the Shadows.
Yeah, this one was a real simple one, but it was kind of creepy.
It was very creepy. It was actually funny because we were just walking out of that scare zone, and the actors were coming into it, because it was just at the time that the thing started, and a lot of the actors were in like those tight, the skin body suit things. A few were in costumes and stuff. Like there was like a Mothman kind of creature and a few other little creatures.
Wendigo. He was cool.
And a Wendigo that was really cool. But one of the guys just walks up to me, and he's just like real creepy. He's got like this little hatchet and stuff, and he just comes up to me and he's just like, "Go to sleep." And it was so creepy. I'm just like, no, thank you.
Yeah, he was cool. But yeah, then they just had like these weird big smiles like painted on
Yeah.
it. It was a creepy little scare zone.
It was very.
Not like I said, there wasn't like many props or anything in that. There was just some like shadow figure cutouts. But
Yeah,
it's a real
yeah.
simple one. What else?
We have Skeleton Crew, which was a pirate themed.
Yeah, this felt like a
Scare zone.
SeaWorld one, because SeaWorld's like,
Yes.
oh, of course, sea themed, but they had like a bunch of tentacles coming out, a couple like little shacks, and then yeah, like some pirates there. They didn't really get any scares in this one. We weren't in this one for long, but they had like fog and then like lasers to kind of make it look a little bit like you're underwater, kind of. So that was
a little
cool.
bit. Next was The Shortcut, which
This one was
was
neat.
basically taking a shortcut through a cemetery, and it was a real creepy cemetery because like the tombstones were like monsters.
But then they
and
had
stuff like
when you
that.
walk into it, there was like a church that looks like the church has been like cut in half and
Yeah.
kind of smoldered.
Yeah.
So you walk through this really cool like church facade, and there's like candles and actors like inside like the burnt down church, which
Yeah,
was cool.
yeah, because they had like music playing, but they also had like a voiceover thing, and like the voiceover was actually like saying like church service stuff, and I was just like,
They're like creepy nuns and stuff. In
yeah,
there.
I was like, oh, this is kind of creepy.
Yeah, and that was cool. And then I think we just have one scare zone left, right?
Yes, we have a Voodoo.
Yeah, this one is pretty cool. We weren't in this one for very long. We kind of just passed right through this one, but they did have a cool like Wicker Man-ish statue thing.
Yeah, that was really
cool.
neat.
Some like little voodoo huts. What you would expect, I think, people with little shaky things.
Yeah.
Something else that Busch Gardens does that SeaWorld did as well when we were there is they have like roaming scare actors.
Yes.
The worst one ever, oh my God, is the Busch people. They're literally people that are just in like kind of ghillie suits. They're just like things that are like camo.
Yeah.
And they would literally just sit in bushes randomly throughout the park and scare you. There's have a can of beans, and all of a sudden you'll be walking by a bush, and all of a sudden like someone will pop out of the bush. You'll just hear a loud bang. Yeah, they'll just sit anywhere and they'll just scare the crap out of you. It's horrifying. Like I remember walking back to the hotel room, like looking at bushes, I'm like, ugh.
There was one sitting on a step that got us. Like, she was literally just sitting on a step. She wasn't even in a bush. It was the strangest thing. We're like, you're supposed to be in...
Because the color they are, yeah, I don't know if she
Yeah.
actually scared me, but I didn't see her at first. And then I saw someone get scared by a bush person. And then I saw them after. I was like, oh my God, I like looked by this a couple times and didn't even see her sitting there.
Yeah. And then they also had some sliders over by the junkyard area. That would just slide up at you. And there's some people on stilts, too, around that area as well. And then I named them this. I don't know if this is their actual names, but I called them dads with chainsaws.
Yeah, what the heck was that?
They
That was
were
weird.
all like middle-aged men with chainsaws. And they look like dads. And I just was like, okay, dads with chainsaws. That's your name now. But it was funny because they were just dressed normal. Some of them had like a little bit of blood on their face and stuff like that. And they would just walk around with chainsaws and scare the crap out of people who are terrified of chainsaws.
Yeah, I want to see if they had a name. But there's also, we saw there was like kids roaming around at one point too. Like there was a roaming, like a roaming group of those kids. Remember all the kids with like the weapons and stuff?
Yeah, there were kids
'Cause
with
you were
weapons.
like, oh, that's good. Let's just give the kids weapons. That's enough on all of that. So we'll go ahead and kind of talk about the actual haunts themselves now.
All right. So, new for this year was a more of a traditional kind of haunted house. It was called Strangled Estates.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a creepy old mansion kind of haunted house. They had a really nice, really cool facade.
It's that's like the only picture I have. I just didn't take many pictures
I
of any
kind
of
of
the
forgot.
events.
Yeah.
I don't like a lot of people are like, oh, well, the reason a lot of times there aren't videos and stuff is because I like to enjoy myself and not see it through the lens of my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But especially when on vacation, like I keep my phone zipped in my pocket for the most of the time. But yeah, it was a really cool one. Also, a nice thing is like the longest we waited was for one we'll talk about, and I think it's called Blood Moon. But that was only like 20 minutes, if that.
Mm-hmm.
That was the longest we waited for the haunts. I'm glad we didn't buy express in advance. Because, yeah, the lines were not long, especially compared to Horror Nights. And we did go on opening night as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Strangled Estates is kind of what you would expect. It was very traditional, haunted house, but there were some unique scares. One that got me good is there's, like, these, like, big windows, and someone, like, there's, like, a little hidey hole, and she stepped out in front of the windows, and all the windows turned red and made, like, a lightning sound.
Yeah, that was really cool.
One nice thing as well is they don't use the boo pedals like they do at Halloween Horror Nights, so, like, the actors are actually talking to you.
Yeah.
Like, there might be a sound effect that they do sometimes, but they actually are talking and they can say things to you instead of just clicking a pedal and it playing a pre-recorded sound.
Right.
But yeah, this one is cool. There's like a greenhouse you walk through, you know, a kitchen, all of that typical stuff. Just really well themed. Also, the haunts here do feel a little bit longer than Halloween Horror Nights. Now, there are half the amount, but they did feel a little bit longer than the typical theme park haunt is, I feel like.
Yeah, they felt like more like an actual like haunted house.
Most for like 5 to 7 minutes long, which is decent for a haunted house in a theme park.
Yes. Yeah.
She had a lot of detail. Nothing super different than what you'd expect, but I kind of like the traditional haunted house theme.
I want to say this
when
one,
it's done well, and it was.
This one and one other were like probably my favorites, just because they did
like
really unique things with it, and I really liked, you know, a little bit different take on like your traditional spooky house, you know.
It was cool. Yeah, it was really good. It was good.
So the next one we went to was Deathwater Bayou Blood Moon, the final phase.
Yeah, real long name. Basically, this is a werewolf house.
Yeah. I guess it's a sequel to a sequel.
Yeah.
So I guess they've had this theme before, but this one was more focused on werewolves.
Yeah, because there was like the voodoo thing kind of going on a little bit. Like when you walked in, there were some people, but then it really kind of devolved into being in a forest with werewolves.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a fair amount. I think this one was one of the coolest like scene ones, but I think this one was probably one of the shorter ones, and there wasn't that many actors in this one.
Yeah. No.
I got jump scared a little bit, but yeah, a lot of people in like werewolf costumes and stuff like that. It was cool. I liked it. So all of them were actually really beautiful, especially for theme park haunts.
Yeah, their attention to detail is really, really well. Like I just was amazed at at the beginning of this one, there's a voodoo shop you walk through, and like there was just little things all over the shelves and stuff, and it's like it's not a room that you spend a lot of time in, but they put like a lot of time and effort into making it look authentic, and I thought that was really good.
But yeah, walking through bayous and like woods and stuff with creepy werewolves jumping out. It's basically what this one was. Cause I liked it.
So the next one is actually a new take on an old house that they used to have. It was called The Residence. And this one was Home for the Holidays.
Yeah, this one was one of my favorites. Now, again, we haven't seen what the original one was, but they really Christmased this out.
They Christmased it up a lot. Like there was the outside facade of the house actually had Christmas lights that were themed to the music. They were playing Christmas music, like their own radio station. I think it was like SCAR or something like that was the radio station, like Scare. Yeah, so the lights were like pulsing to the music that was playing, and they were playing Christmas music, of course. And yeah, you start off going into a house that basically is trying to celebrate the holidays. And, you know,
it's like, you know, just your like
happens.
twisted elves and stuff. I don't know the exact storyline. There's a actor playing Santa, which was super creepy, telling you he's gonna like shit down your chimney and stuff, and he's just sitting there, and he has an ashtray and a bunch of beers beside him and stuff, and he's just gross, and like I don't even know what his beard was made out of, but like they purposely made a very fake looking beard. It looked like it was made out of tissue paper.
It was gross.
It was nasty, but in a good way. But yeah, I mean they had like snowmans, everything was like covered in snow in there, and of course they had the air conditioning pumped.
It was probably literally the coolest haunted house we went into, because they had the air conditioning pumped in there, so it felt like you were in a winter wonderland.
Yeah, it was really cool. I really liked this house, and they had a lot of good scents in there as well.
Yeah,
some were gross, but they also had some nice scents like chocolate and stuff like that. And just like some of the actors are creepy. Like the one elf, she just had her little eyes peering around the corner. Didn't even really try and scare us. She just go hi as you walk by, just looking around the corner. It was creepy. I really liked that house. I didn't get a ton of scares in that house, but it was probably one of my favorite as far as set design goes. Yeah. Because they just really went all out on the set design. All right, so what's the next one?
Next haunted house was The Forgotten, which was a different take on vampires.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of a unique idea. It was a little risque at some points, but I can't talk right now. You stumble upon a like society of vampires. Like you're going exploring on your bikes or something, and you go to a cave and you end up finding like this big like
castle. It was like a castle
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, because it's cool because like
vampires.
The queue line, like they let you in and like there's just like the sidewalk and you go down, and I think it looks like it might be in like the like a rapids ride or something where this might be at.
Yeah.
Because you kind of walk through like this cave thing, and then you see like these two like bikes that are like parked on the side, and you walk around this corner and you do see like the facade of like a little castle kind of thing. And yeah, it's basically a vampire nightclub.
Yeah.
And it looks like they love eating humans, and bondage.
Bondage.
Is
Lots
what they
of bondage.
are real into. So there's some real interesting scenes in here, like a lot of like, I don't know, it's like a lot of like leather outfits, like mannequins and like weird leather outfits. Some of them
gimp suits.
Yeah, gimp suits. There's one point you go in this bed that's like has chains as I don't know what you like, chains as curtains.
Yeah.
With like a thing. It's not a real person, but like it's supposed to be like a person like chained up on like the top of the thing. You even get to like go into like the maintenance quarters, because I assume the whole idea of this as it's like a party place, almost maybe like a vampire brothel, maybe.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And the humans are the drinks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Is kind of what I think is going on there. Never seen anything quite like it before. It was cool, and like lots of black and reds. Like
yes, very black and red.
Velvet, yeah.
Velvet, chains, leather. They had like nightclub music just go boom, 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 pumping in there.
Yeah. I didn't get a ton of scares in this one. I got a couple. But, just the theming, though, was really like, what on earth is going on? Yeah, because I hadn't really seen I haven't really watched POVs or anything of the haunts to this one, so I kind of knew what it was because she had told me about it, but like... Yeah.
I had just heard from like other places and stuff, they had said that it was a little bit more adult-orientated.
Which it is, yeah.
Yeah, and a little risque and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, well... Let's see.
Yeah, and it's more just like suggestions, obviously.
Yeah,
there's nothing like too graphic that you see, but it's like things that are used for graphic things.
Yes, yeah.
As far as, sexy time goes.
You can make your own assumptions.
But there is like some gore and stuff. Just a lot of really cool like set pieces, a lot of really cool lighting. Like they even have this real big skull that has like red neon all around it. It's just, it all fits the theme really well, which I really liked about this house. It's definitely the most unique of the themes that they had. I have not, like I said, I haven't seen anything quite like the theme of this one.
And that brings us to our last house, which was Witch of the Woods.
Right. This one was probably my overall favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's cool. It's half outside, half inside.
Yeah, and it was very unique, just the way they like weaved in and out. It was very confusing because like at one point we're like back at the front again, and it was really cool. They had some of the Busch people hiding in there.
Yeah, they sure did.
And then of course it's witch themed, so they had like where there were people like trying to get to the witches, and then the witches were fighting back kind of stuff, and they had like really cool like village facade in there, and you felt like you were actually in this village.
Yeah, because at one point even like it was even a little bit more than just a facade, because there's like, and this is like the indoor section, but you're walking through the village and the first time we walked through, we did this one twice. Second time there wasn't, but there was someone that was up in the window like trying to scare people up above. They had a really cool thing that I think scared both me and the first time we walked through, we got a lot of scares. We didn't get as many the second time. So this is also like, I'd recommend going through a couple of different times. Especially like if you choose to do express before like the park gets real busy, I would do a couple and then use your express, because this one is one of the ones where at least with the base package, you can only do each haunt once. Yeah. And then it's punched and you can't go in through express again. But there is this spot towards the end where they had a person on a bungee cord. Yeah. One of those like things where they come out, and they really had him hidden well behind fog and light, and they it was
very distracting, and they just came out, and it was just like, okay. I kept seeing people look that way, but like they didn't react to anything, and then it happened, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay.
But overall, like this one, they just have a lot of good spots for the actors to hide and stuff in all the haunts, which I like. There's a lot of things where I'm like, oh, I didn't expect someone to pop out of there. And so, yeah, I really liked that. The only real complaint I think we had about the event overall, so SeaWorld has, like, as far as their food and drink options, they have, like, these really cool themed bars.
Yeah.
Which I expected Busch Gardens to have, since obviously SeaWorld owns Busch Gardens. And it's both called Howl-O-Scream, and Busch Gardens has been doing it for a lot longer. Because SeaWorld, basically, they're like, and if you watched our review from last year, you know what we're talking about, but, like, when you walk in, there's one that has, like, little pole dancers. There's, like, a bar there, and then there's another one where there's, like, a woman dancing on the ceiling, where there's, like, this, like, netting, and she was doing stuff, and there's a bar there, then there was, like, a underwater-themed bar.
And
so all these really cool...
pirate bar.
Yeah, I think the one that I'm talking about, yeah, it was, like, a pirate bar.
Yeah.
But they didn't have anything like that at all. They just had, like, little kiosk things. And they all had, like, the same drinks. There wasn't really any unique food options that I saw. Like, a couple of the normal places, like Chick-fil-A actually seemed to be open from the majority of the event, which was surprising.
Surprised by that.
So they had some of the normal stuff, but they didn't seem to have any, like, event-specific food. They had a couple event-specific drinks, but they're only, like, 2 or 3 in total, and I'm like, I just feel like they could have done a little bit more in that regards.
Yeah, they had 2 specialty drinks, and then they were supposed to have a third one that was in, like, a blood bag, but they must not have gotten it in time for opening day or something, because they all the signs said coming soon. So, and that was the one I was looking forward to because it actually sounded really tasty. The other 2 drinks were good, not necessarily my favorites of our alcoholic drinks that we've had, but they were pretty tasty.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, though, I mean, I did enjoy the event quite a bit. It was also nice that there wasn't long wait times. It was raining at the beginning of the event, so I'm sure it does get busier later on in the season. We were scared since it was opening night that it would be really busy, but yeah. But yeah, I would recommend if you're doing Halloween Horror Nights and you've never been, especially to Busch Gardens, I think it's worth the drive out there to go to it. Busch Gardens food and stuff, though, is, like, insanely expensive, like, more so than Disney. A lot of the times. So, like, I think just, like, one alcoholic drink was, like, $16 just for one small one.
Yeah.
You get the same thing, at Universal for, like, $4 a drink cheaper.
Yeah. They had Jell-O shot syringes.
$11, $10.99.
They were $10.99. And actually, when we were at SeaWorld, they were, like, $6.
They were a lot less last year, at least.
Yeah, last year.
Because I know a lot of things have been raised, but... Yeah, that is one thing that, because we noticed that in Williamsburg when we were there just for the normal theme park. We didn't do a video on it or anything, but everything there was so expensive. Just to park it is $30. Yeah, that kind of thing is kind of annoying how expensive it is. Like, the event and the tickets itself, I don't think were that much, but yeah, I say it is worth it. And like I said, they let us in at 5, so if you want to go early and just experience rides before, probably the wait time's going to be low regardless then, because most day guests are leaving. Yeah. And most of the people there for Howl-O-Scream won't be coming in probably till closer to 7 when the event begins. Yeah. So I think that's kind of a pro tip there. But yeah, have you been there? What did you think of the event? Make sure to let us know. Also, again, make sure to subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos, because it is Halloween Spoopy Time. So we will have a lot of Spoopy Time videos coming out here shortly. And again, make sure to check out our Halloween Horror Nights video, and we also have a Morton Manor one in Kissimmee, Florida, which is very close to Orlando. It's another haunted house that we're going to be doing a normal, like, actual rated review on. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.